Yeah. Yeah, going out I'm going out of my comfort zone a little bit here and staying out of, well, it's politics, but it's not politics. It's it's dealing with people. So let's go. So I had a funny little quip about Guinness Book of World Records and Steve McRae trying to get in there as the person with the most blocks, but it's not even worth it. It's not even that funny, to be honest. But what started this, me wanting to make this video today, is literally getting home and seeing Steve having a new block screenshot from Professor Dave Explains on YouTube, Dave Farina, all because Steve dare voice an opinion about something. And it's got me thinking that Dave doesn't care how he looks. So, and it just strikes me as funny. It strikes me as funny because of the fact that most everything I've ever seen him do where he's actually interacting with somebody who disagrees with him on something or disagrees about a topic or something with science, he has to use personal attacks on people. And this shows to me that he doesn't have the people skills to deal with people he feels are intellectually inferior. If he considers you an intellectual inferior person to him, then why should he respect you? That's the air he gives off in his videos, in his tweets, and apparently how he came off in this debate. So I'm going to let his tweets speak for themselves. I will give my opinion on them. But to be honest, I don't have much respect for him anymore. Not that I had much to begin with, but the fact that he can't treat people with respect due to just being humans, yeah. Let's just move on to the tweets. So you have Jonathan Sarfati here. Stay tuned, but here are a few notes on the Dave Farina versus James Tour debate, which Steve McRae commented on the same day, saying, "I'm so reluctant to watch the debate from what I've heard about it so far. Even from atheists, the word I've been hearing is that Professor Dave basically just trolled Tour and made a mockery of the debate by insulting Tour and the audience. Not professional at all." Now, this is literally a fair criticism of Dave's actions based upon hearsay. Now, what I mean by that is, if people are talking about this is how it is, to me or to anybody else, we have the ability to say, well, yeah, this sounds pretty bad, and this is a debate that I might want to watch, and if all it is going to be a bunch of personal attacks on the opponent and the audience, then why do I want to watch it? And Dave automatically doubles down on his positions in the very next tweet by saying, maybe you should actually watch it and see what an unhinged, lying, shouting douchebag James was. You're propagating lies from a propaganda organization, champ. He's already attacked James in his first sentence, and then insinuates that Steve is intentionally trying to propagate propaganda. No, what Steve was doing was commenting on what he had heard. There's a difference. But, yeah. Steve responded with, I plan to watch it if this is just preliminary from what the vast majority of feedback I have received who have watched it. I'm assuming it's supposed to be from those who have watched it. As I have noted, I have not had a single person have a positive review of it about your performance yet. And this is where I really lost my respect for Dave. Then you haven't talked to anybody who isn't stupid. Like, really? I may not know about OOL research in depth. I might be able to grasp some topics and not others. But as a person, I can tell when somebody is having a poor performance because they are not actually providing the evidence in a straightforward way. You know, from what it sounds like, oh, and Dave is going to love me for this. Sounds like Dave was doing what Trump was doing during the presidential debates and the primary debates for the Republican nomination. You know, just bad-mouthing people who criticize you. You know? But how dare I compare him to Trump? Oh no, how dare I make that comparison when I haven't watched the debate? Okay. That's a fair criticism of me making a comparison. But based upon the way that I see him reacting in these tweet threads to people who actually, you know, make valid criticism points based upon those who have watched it, like in the very next tweet from Steve where he screenshot something. You know, oh, actually, it's a link to the actual. It's a link to the actual person's tweet. So anyone who has so far thought you didn't do very well is, quote, stupid, end quote. That is how you want to respond to any criticisms of your performance. I just want clarification to make sure that is your position when I watch the debate later today. Example, the Danish debater. I agree. It was horrible to watch, and honestly, I think both behaved and performed extremely poorly. But I will say that Dave made an absolute hat out of himself with his arrogant behavior, not only towards James, but also the audience. As for who won, I think we all lost. To which Dave doubles down on it. Yeah, criticizing me for pushing back against his lies and pageantry is very stupid. That self-arrogance, that self-absorbed, I am better than my opponent, is very Trumpian. Is very much, you know, why people despise Trump. And is very much going to be why people are going to despise Dave going forward. If he continues to treat people this way. It's not this, I don't think Dave is truly like Trump in the, you know, the egotistical, narcissistic way that Trump is. But he's sure as hell in this tweet thread providing an excellent example of what it is to be Trump. Because Steve even comes back to say, you seem to forget if it was a formal debate, there are ways to do that without, what he means by ways to do that, pushing back against the lies and pageantry, without the personal attacks. A formal debate is not YouTube. And again, I'm only going by what I've heard so far. I will be watching it today for a more informed opinion. So again, Steve is just saying, from what I'm seeing, you were supposed to have a formal debate. There are ways in a formal debate to do it without personal attacking somebody. And from what I heard, you basically personally attacked Professor Tour. Okay. What's wrong with this criticism? Just because he hasn't watched it up to this point doesn't mean it's not valid. Doesn't mean what other people are saying is not valid. But, you know, even the original poster comes in and says, The moderator was too slack. It might have been better to say, quote, "Okay, Professor Dave, we all get it. Professor Tour is a pathological liar according to you. How about getting to the stated debate topic now?" End quote. So apparently taking something that the moderator said and rewording it so it sounded a little better. But that being said, Dave doubled down again. Not, quote, "according to me," end quote. "He objectively is, sweetie. And stop pretending I didn't present a mountain of research that proved him wrong. It's infantile." Why the personal attack on somebody who basically said, yes, the moderator was too slack. He could have done it this way, to which you could, in a way that, could rein you back into, maybe instead of personally attacking a person, you could have actually just argued the points. But you can't seem to do that. Because, nope. You had to attack him, which then in turn means he's attacking you now. Of course, this is twice you've attacked him before he's before he's responded with his own attack. According to a lowbrow village atheist, but not to real Professor Tour's colleagues and those of us with advanced qualifications in chemistry. So, and none of which have anything to do with origin of life research and don't qualify him in the area at all. Argument from authority? That's all you have, dumbass? You're even dumber than I thought. Again, what is so hard about taking criticism? What is so wrong with being even partially wrong about something? And what I mean by partially wrong is your performance. You could literally have said everything right to debunk Professor Tours, Dave. And yet, your attitude and the way that you attacked him and the audience there means that you're not going to have at least one person change their mind. And that's really what you should look at it, is you're not trying to change the whole audience's mind at once. You're trying to change them individually, one at a time. Because the more you can break through to them over time, the more likely you are to succeed overall. But you can't see the forest for the trees. So Dr. Tour knows what is needed to make molecules combine. That is why he has won lots of awards in synthetic chemistry. Definitely an appeal to authority. It means he is in perfect position to see through the bluff of a fake professor and other chemical evolutionists. Again, you attack, he's going to attack, you're going to attack, he's going to attack. It doesn't end. He's not. He knows fuck all about astrochemistry, geochemistry, systems chemistry, or any of the science actually relevant to the field. If you could prove that and do it and state it almost in that way, maybe get rid of the fuck. Basically he doesn't know anything about these things. You could probably change people's mind. But no, then you have to go on and add, he's also lying for Jesus. Cry about it, dipshit. Science isn't wrong just because you're brainwashed and stupid. The personal attacks, it's like me saying, oh, well, you shouldn't get a vote or anything because you didn't serve your nation in the military. For those that haven't, I'm not saying you haven't, Dave, because I don't know if you're a veteran or not. And personally, I don't really care. I'm just using an example. It's like, oh, maybe we should adopt, the Starship Troopers model of, service guarantees citizenship. And therefore, if you want to, if you want to do something, if you want to be able to vote in the political system, then you better, serve the nation, But it is what it is. And then Steve comes back in and says that, too bad you failed to demonstrate Tour had any substantial gaps in his knowledge. And rather choice should be choose, Steve. Rather choose to just attack him personally. When had any formal debate allowed for such childish and shirtless behavior? And I'm still just over 30 minutes in. So he's in the middle of watching this and seeing that you're acting like a petulant child. No, you're wrong because you're an idiot. I mean, is that how you present yourself when you're debating somebody? No, actually, I proved him wrong with mountains of research while he just shouted and shat his pants. Your petty animus for me is making you humiliate yourself. Figure out how to stop doing that. In this entire thread, the petty animus has literally been from Dave's side. Everyone is just being like, here's some criticism. And you just like, no, that's wrong, blah, blah, blah. You know, just... You just literally brush it off as if it's nobody's saying anything of value or of merit. And yet you can't see it as being valuable because you don't respect these people's opinions, because you don't respect them. You don't think of them as intellectual peers. You think of them as petty pedestrian plebs. Steve, as I said, I'm only 30 plus minutes into it. You had at least 30 personal attacks in your opening statement. Again, you took the debate as an opportunity to attack Tor rather than explain to the audience that what you were going to do to show Tor was wrong. I believe this is supposed to be, is this how you debate? Question mark. And again, you're taking a criticism of, you're attacking the person rather than the idea. And maybe sprinkling some of attacking the idea in there, in your personal attacks, rather than actually debating the topic. Again, I haven't seen this video, and don't worry, I will watch it, but I don't need to watch it beforehand to know how you are, Dave, because I see it in all your social media posts that I actually follow. I've seen it in your videos. So I know this is really you. Proving that he lies about origin of life research is how I showed he's wrong about origin of life research. Stop whining about how I demolish lying apologists. It's a bad look for you. Yeah, that bad look, that's not on Steve. That bad look is on you. And it is entirely because you're unwilling to treat people like people. If they're against you, they're the devil, and therefore you must exterminate them. Or let me use my own analogy. Even though you're presenting Trumpian behaviors, you look at them as basically they are the equivalent of Trump and therefore should be disposed of. But Steve goes on to say, dude, there's a time and place for everything. That was neither the time nor the place. You can't seem to grasp that the debate was not a good look for you. No university will ever invite you back. If they did, I would be amazed. What did you accomplish? Whose minds were changed? And that's the crux of a debate, is to try and change the minds of those in the audience and those watching at home or watching at a later time. Yet you just blow past what Steve's trying to tell you. At least when I debated a young earth creationist, that young earth creationist eventually left young earth creation and became a science teacher. I didn't call him a liar or insult him. I just showed him the facts and explained them in a way that made sense to him and the audience. I changed actual minds. And rather than be like, oh, maybe I should take that approach or even consider it, cool story, bro. Your predetermination makes you look like an asshat. Tour's idiot audience is a brick wall of stupid that would not be convinced by anything whatsoever, ever. James could admit he's wrong and I'm right, and it wouldn't even do it. James is an unhinged lying maniac, and should be treated as such. End of story. Then what you're saying here is that we should treat you as if you're an asshole who doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. And when you actually need some help, we should just tell you to fuck off. Because, you know, that's how you treat people who are trying to provide you actual feedback. But again, you know, it's Steve McRae. Steve McRae can't provide actual feedback because he too is an asshole. And he too, you know, blah, blah, blah. I made him act like a complete buffoon for everyone to see. It doesn't matter that his idiot followers are immune to facts. Scroll through the comments on my channel to see the reaction from people who aren't stupid, jackass. You're an atheist siding with a lying apologist. No, Steve is not an atheist. Steve is an agnostic. Steve has told me he's an agnostic. He's explained to me why he's an agnostic. He has logically explained it to me that, you know what agnostics are. That's an entirely different story for a different thread that I'm sure you don't even care about. So, but the fact that you even suggest that we go to such an unbiased place to get we go to such a biased place for an unbiased opinion is laughable. Your channel comment section is, especially for that video, is not one that I would claim to be unbiased at all. Is inherently biased, will always inherently be biased, and wouldn't be worth damn dogs wouldn't be worth the information there on the simple fact that they are going to kowtow to your ego and stroke your ego. I bet there are people who are like, oh yeah, you did great. Secretly, they're like, oh fuck, what an idiot. Because they don't want to upset you. They don't want to upset the narcissism in you. And, you know, you can say you're not a narcissist. But if you're a presenter on social media and content creation, you have a bit of narcissism in you. You just have to. Because there's a certain amount of dopamine hits that we get from watching our channels grow and views grow and, you know, dejection when our videos don't do good or they get hidden by the algorithm. So, yeah. And before you try to attack me for, you know, clout chasing or whatever, my channel has been stagnant at 220 some odd subscribers for like the last 4 years. I really don't give a fuck. If I was really trying to grow my channel to make it successful, to be a popular YouTuber, do you think I would have changed my attack by now? Yeah, probably would have. I just like giving my opinion because it is my opinion on my channel. So, the fact that you even attack Reason to Doubt for their comment is hilarious. And I get that the moron that you're talking about is not Reason to Doubt, but Steve. I find it hilarious. But the fact that Reason to Doubt comes in and basically says the exact same thing that most people have been saying for quite a while. The comment section of your own YouTube channel probably isn't the best spot to look at if you want unbiased information. Definitely self-selection effects going on there. Your followers are going to think you did well even if you didn't. The same is true for Tours. So, if Tours' audience is doing the same thing for him, your audience is doing the same thing for you, where do we go for an unbiased opinion? How about those that are willing to criticize you and Tours? But no. Those people are stupid because they're against you in the way that you treated Tours. So, therefore, they're stupid. This moron is pretending that my own followers are saying I'm performing poorly. No, that's not what Steve said. That's not what Steve said at all. I'm directing him to where he can see what they actually think. That I spanked Tour so hard he won't be able to sit for a month. Oh, the delusions of grandeur. Wow, you really believe this, don't you? I'm now 75% done with the debate. And nowhere do I see any, quote, spanking, end quote. You seem way out of your depths to the specificities of Tour's very specific questions. I would like to hear from the experts on their reviews of this debate. And this is where you fall way off the deep end there, Dave. Like, seriously. You fell way off. That's because you're a whiny bitch that wants me to be wrong because I made fun of your dumb paper. You're ruining your own credibility over it. You should really reflect on that. Wow, such a gotcha. Be still my heart. You wounded Steve so badly. No, actually, you just made yourself look like a fucking idiot. Like, you think this is some sort of like, I don't even, care about your paper because it's stupid, blah, blah, blah. Mic drop. See? No, this shows that you have no respect for people that you consider intellectually inferior. You feel that your education holds you as some bastion of truth, that you are, the ultimate whatever. Because you sit here and put people down on the internet, that you trash talk them, that you're, whatever. So then Steve challenges you, and yet you fail to show it was quote unquote dumb. This is the exact type of trolling you resort to when you can't actually refute the arguments being given. This is what people are noticing. Why would I take you seriously if you can't show my paper is logically flawed? To which you respond, I told you, your logic requires that I have an infinitely large belief system. That is dumb. No paper reading necessary. And none of that has anything to do with your profound inability to discuss origin of life research. What does that even mean? You're criticizing his paper, or you're not even criticizing his paper. You're just calling it dumb because you don't want to take the time to do anything with it. Okay. And it's because, yeah, and then you're like, well, this has nothing to do with the topic at hand anyway, so it's like, you're the one that brought the fucking paper up to begin with. This whole thing could have ended probably 5 tweets earlier had you not brought up the paper, because you can't argue with Steve on this, that you actually look bad in this debate. Steve's not challenging you on the stuff that you're presenting in the debate. He's challenging your presentation style. And you're just like, well, I was in hostile territory and they're not going to listen to me anyways. So what does it matter? It matters because then it shows that you're actually taking this seriously. That you actually want to change minds. That, that you actually care about the science. But what you really care about is just doing your boom mic drops. You want to be the next, insert famous scientist, engineer, personality types on TV, now on YouTube. Dave, I just can't understand why you feel the need to be this way. What is it about people who you think are intellectually inferior to you that you hate? And that if they criticize you, you cannot handle that. It's not even a question of handling it. You just dismiss it outright as if it's irrelevant. I bet you if you had actually taken that seriously, you might have changed one or two members of the audience's opinion. But you don't think so because you don't respect. And that's fundamentally what this all boils down to. Is that when it comes to communicating, you as the presenter have to respect your audience. You as the presenter have to respect, if you're debating somebody, your opponent. Even if it's a flat earther, there's a modicum of respect for being a human. And from just what I've seen in this thread, you give anybody who says that you didn't give him that respect, meaning Tours or his audience, shows me that you don't respect them, that you don't respect people who you deem to be intellectually inferior. So, I know I'm going to get comments in my comment section for this, but you're the scientific community's Trump. You're bombastic. You're arrogant. You have no respect for those that you go against in your debates or your videos. And you act in a way that is, that is in a way inhuman. You belittle people for no other reason than to make fun of them, to make yourself feel better. I don't know your personal life. I don't know if you're married, you're dating, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. In your close inner circle, you have the interpersonal skills to do whatever you want to do. But in the larger, broader sense and scheme of things, I'd hate to be in your class. If you are actually a teacher, I'd hate to be the person who questions what you tell them. A difference of opinion, a difference of belief, a difference of philosophy is no reason to hate somebody. Is no reason to despise somebody. You can't change people's minds if you're unwilling to tackle the ideas in a fair and constructive way. What's his name now? Just got me thinking of something. Let me pull this back up here. We're going to do a quick search here. Black man that changes racist minds. Daryl Davis. That's who I was thinking of. If a black man can convert KKK members from being white supremacists just by, talking with them, you should be able to convert people who believe in creationist beliefs about the way science works. But your debate tactics prevent you from doing that. So, yeah, if you watch this, Dave, this is not a personal attack, truly. This is me trying to provide you criticism, but you've lost the respect with me to the point where, if you're losing the average person's respect, you should probably sit back and reflect on what you're doing. Yeah, Steve McCrae can be an asshole. He can be a dick. But he's honest with people. I have yet to have him lie to me about anything. which is why he has my respect. Same thing with Red's rhetoric. Same thing with AT2 Productions. Same with most of the people that I deal with on here as a community. And I don't agree with everybody on everything. I don't agree with everybody on most things. But if some of them were to come to me and say, hey, Jay, this was, what you did here was bad, or what you did here was made you look horrible. Or if I did a debate where I acted and personal attacked people in front of a formal debate setting, I would stop and be like, okay, let me go back and watch the tape. Much like a quarterback watches his decisions, both on the sideline, but also later on during game tape review. How, various athletes study their opponents. Go back and watch yourself so you can see where your flaws are, so you can see where you might need to change your game plan against your opponent. But Dave, do you have the ability to do that? Do you have the ability to self-reflect in that way? That's my question to you. That's my question to all of you in the audience. Do you honestly think you could self-reflect if given feedback the way Dave has been given? Such as way up here at the top in Steve's example with the Danish debater. Both parties are performed extremely poorly, but Dave made a hat out of himself with his arrogant behavior, not only towards his opponent, but towards the audience. Can you, Dave, take that as honest criticism and self-reflect? Or are you too arrogant, like Trump, to take that criticism? Peace.